What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome back to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for supporting the movement, which is AshSaidIt.com. Yes, we got that 250,000 streams worldwide. I would not have that without each and every one of you. And each week, I bring you something special, some little extra, some little tidbits, some little jewels that you didn't know, and connections that you didn't realize that I had. I have one of the most prolific talents on the phone with me right now. I've got a daughter of a legend, but she's also a legend within her own right. The daughter of the wonderfully beautiful Millie Jackson. I've got Keisha Jackson with me.
Hey, Ash.
Hey, Keisha. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. It's good to talk to you this morning.
Absolutely. I appreciate you making time because I know you got a tight schedule, sister girl. I appreciate you.
It's not so tight right now, but it's about to get tight.
It's about to get it.
I got time, and it's good. It's good. I got room to breathe. So
Cool.
I like that. You need that.
All right, Keisha. So let our audience know, where are you from? Where do you represent?
I'm Atlanta, Georgia, honey. I'm an AT alien all the way.
Alien. All the way. All right.
I'm a migrant. Well, let me not say all the way, because I'm actually a migrant, but I've been here for almost 30 years. So I came from New York. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Jersey until my sophomore year in college, and then I migrated to Atlanta, and I've been here ever since.
Absolutely. So you ain't new to this, but you're absolutely true to this.
Yes,
Sort of bit. All right, Keisha. When did you realize that your mom was famous? Was there a memory in?
That's a good question. I would say before I was a teenager, I knew she was famous because she traveled so much, and so that was the reason why she was gone. However, I didn't really realize the impact. I didn't realize what famous was. You know what I mean? I didn't know what famous was. I knew that she was an entertainer and a singer, and she traveled, and we always had her entertainer friends were always around, so I knew her friends well, the Isley brothers, and they were always around, and many others, but I knew from that reason, but I didn't get it really until I was a teenager. I didn't. Gotcha. Yeah, which is crazy because I'm like living this life I don't even understand. I'm totally oblivious. Yeah.
So, as you're a teenager, you're starting to understand. Okay, wow, my mom is she's making a big splash around the world. It's in circulation. What was the appeal for you to the music industry?
I didn't really have an appeal to the music industry. I just had an appeal to singing. I just wanted to sing. My mother tried to deter me as much as possible because she understood what went along with that. She understood the industry, but she didn't. She understood the singing. Okay, I know you want to sing, but this goes along with that. So she tried to push me away from it as much as possible. And then I kind of fought tooth and nail. I just had a passion to sing. Yeah. And I started singing background for her early teens. Probably 12 and 13 years old. I was singing background for her unofficially during holiday vacations when I wasn't in school and stuff like that. But that only fueled it. Right. And so she'd always call me on stage, but that only made it worse. So I was like, okay, you need to stop calling me on stage because but she was proud of me and she was proud of what I was able to do. So she, I guess it was that line between parent, proud mother, and just trying to be really logical about the situation. I guess because when she came up into it, as she was coming up into it, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing now, but it definitely wasn't easy then.
Absolutely. So really being the child of this megastar is one thing, because you already have that label on you. People are looking at you sideways and like, oh, they're doing the comparisons and things of that nature. But what steps did you take as an artist to cultivate your talent?
I think you just have to pay attention to yourself. You have to know what's yours, and you have to just kind of hone in on that. A lot of people, especially now, No, I wouldn't say just now. Let me take that back. It's always been, even if you look back at Motown, it's always been a situation where people copy that good thing that hits, and then everybody kind of copies it. And that's just kind of been what the music industry is. They want to take that great thing that worked and copy it over and over and over again until they wear it out, and then someone comes and creates something new and starts the cycle all over again. So for me, I just never liked that. When I came out with my first album, it was New Jack Swing. I hated it. Not because I hated love New Jack Swing, but I didn't have a say so in the music. You know what I mean? We recorded my entire in a week, child. Whole in a 1 week, my whole album was from top to bottom.
What?
And it was, hey girl, I hated that thing. I hated it, but I just put out on my little promo tour and
smile and cheese.
But
do what you got to do.
I didn't like it, and that was just it just wasn't me, you know. But you know, it paid the bills at the time, and I was young, so it more than paid the bills, you know, because I didn't really have the responsibilities then that I have now. So I was balling. I was rolling. I was like, well, let me sing these terrible songs, honey, and let these points. But I felt like a puppet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think carving out your niche is just really honing in on what's you, and not be afraid to push back when somebody tries to force something else onto you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So during the songwriting process, where do you pull a lot of your inspiration from?
Songwriting is hard for me sometimes because sometimes I often have just times where I'm not inspired at all. Like, cause I don't want to sound. I mean, every songwriter goes through that, but songwriting for me is a secondary and not a primary. So I wouldn't call myself a singer first. I would call myself a singer first. There are times that people write things for me that hit home closer than something I can create myself. So I'm totally open to that. But it always comes from an experience. Yeah. It always comes from the experience. But I feel like in my history, I've been most inspired when I wasn't doing very well. When I was going through, I was Mary J. Blige, you know, like that was my best right. You know what I mean? And I just got tired of hearing myself say the same thing because when everything was awesome, I didn't really have a lot to say. I was just kind of rolling in the awesomeness. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And when you began to take your career seriously and, you know, jumping into this talent and then, you know, family and friends and Mama Millie's looking, you know, she watching, she's seen every move that you're doing. Did she have any specific advice for you?
She had lots of advice. She had too much advice. She had, child, I didn't want to hear that. She was just, parents are ultra critical.
Yeah.
Because they want perfection.
Yeah.
You know, they want you to be not only good, but they want you to be better than them.
Were. And
It was a tough thing to try and satisfy. You know, as a parent myself, I have to fight. I still have to fight not to say everything. That's all. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you have to let them fly. But I think there's definitely a fear that comes with that. Like, oh, you're gonna fly. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna go. But then you just kind of have to do it. You can't think the worst. You just kind of have to do it. And wherever they end up is where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? And maybe they need to fall flat on their face to learn from that experience. But you already know you can tell a child everything in the world, but they're not going to really get it until they feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what she had. Let me tell you what, though. Her best advice to me was in silence. She was and is the most incredible business person, not just businesswoman, but business person I know. She's from the era that she came up in. She's one of the few artists that never had a manager, always took care of her own business, her bookings, her taxes. Like to this day, my mother sits in the middle of the floor and does quarterly taxes with a whole bunch of papers and what looks like a mess of trash around her. And she will do that. She does it herself, and she's just an amazing businesswoman, an accounting person, and she's always been on top of her business game. She's never had, you know that you always hear, like if you watch Unsung, you always hear those stories where people, lost all their money and then she invested early. we lived in Jersey, but she's a Georgia girl. She was born in Georgia and migrated up north, had me migrated back. She bought property down here. She invested very early on. And she's one of the few people of that era that did that. And the example was louder than anything.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I second on that one. On that one. So, Mama Millie, gorgeous woman, firecracker in the industry. You are her child, her offspring. And when I say just the similarities, just appearance-wise and your presence and your voice, it's almost like she gave the doctor a Polaroid and said, look, I want one that look just like me. I need her to have an essence of my spirit up in her, you know what I'm saying? But she got to be the next generation. And I just want to say that, you are gorgeous, just like your mama. And it is uncanny how similar you are with her.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually. When I was younger, I didn't really like it. It was annoying to hear all the time, girl, you look just like your mom. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? It was just like, because it was every day. And they used to call me Little Millie, like I didn't have a name. You know what I mean? It was just annoying. But then as I got older, I was late with everything, it seems like. I came to appreciate it when I would stroll by a mirror and then just kind of see something and be like, whoa, like that was just like my mother. I can see myself standing in a way, or I'd say something to my kids that would be so Millie, and it was like, oh, this is funny. And I think we all do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all do. But I think the biggest wake-up call was the first time I took a photo. I had a photo shoot. Someone took some candid photos of me, and then I had formal shoot. And there were several of those pictures in that shoot where I could take a picture of my mother in the past and literally sit it side by side, and the damn is the same pose, picture, facial expression. It was like, oh my God. And so I'm my mother's biggest fan. So all of her pictures and all of her, pictures that people don't even see. You know what I mean? From maybe an album cover shoot, but all you saw was the album cover.
Yeah.
And I would see, oh my God, and I would go back to her pictures and put it side by side to mine and be like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? That's not, you know what I mean? But I'm not just my mother's daughter.
Yeah, you're your own person.
I've got a lot.
Yeah, you got. And we want to jump into that. What is next for Keisha Jackson? You've got a whole collection of things. Can we talk about some of those things, perhaps?
Yep.
All right, let's jump into it.
I have a single out now called "Give You My All," and that's the latest thing that I'm promoting. But there are so many other things. It's like I'm a hustler at heart.
Yeah.
So, and I definitely get that from my mother, because she's been go ever since I remember. And I am a vocal coach.
Yeah.
And coach, people in the Atlanta area as well as around the world via Skype and FaceTime. I am a background vocalist with Big Boy of OutKast right now, but I've been with OutKast collectively for the last 21 years.
Wow.
I sang Erykah Badu for 11 and a half years. And the only reason I'm not with her is because I did the OutKast 20 tour, which was 2-3 years ago. And I just decided, it was such a monumental thing with Andre and Big Boy coming back together and doing a world tour. Got to do this. So I had to leave Erykah. I had to make a choice. I do yearly workshops, and I am a radio host of a show called Soul Sisters on Dash Radio, also with the daughters of Isaac Hayes and James Brown. So that's Heather Hayes and Yama Brown. And I got quite a few things going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot going on there, Keisha. So what would be the most rewarding moment for you right now?
Right now, it's kind of tough. I would say most of my moments are rewarding. I'm least rewarded when I am not moving around, and that's a plus and a minus. It's hard for me to rest. I'm a workaholic, and that's tough. That's tough on family. I have to make myself sit down. I have to make myself not try to multitask. I have to make myself just really focus on what's going on. But most of my moments, but now that both of my kids are out of the house, which is awesome, you know, because they are flying. I'm absolutely, I'm so happy about that. My son is in college, and my daughter's been out for some years now. But so now most of my moments are incredible because I put all of myself into everything that I do, but whether I'm on the road singing background, whether I'm doing my own shows, whether I'm on the radio, like, I love everything that I'm doing, and that's what's so awesome about me being in this time of my life.
Okay. So how do you feel about the state of music today? As things are going with record labels, a lot of people are jumping indie. Indie is the hit. That's really the fix because you get to control.
Yeah. Indie is the hit for several reasons. As an artist, as a true artist who cares about the artistry and the integrity of what it is that they're putting out, and they want the people to get it. It's a slower process.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cost process if you're doing it out of pocket. And it takes much longer. You know, it takes maybe 3-4 years to get something to where a major label can get it in 3 to 4 months, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If you have time, if you have the patience, I should say, I would advise to do that. The reward on the other end is just a lot more gratifying because you get your money. You see your money. You know what I'm saying? Where labels, you know, there's pluses and minuses to labels too.
Yeah.
You know, with labels, you don't see your money quickly. You may not see it at all like that.
Yeah.
Not in the way that you independently, because there's so much recoup, and it costs a lot of money to get your record in every outlet worldwide, all over the world. So, and now they have these 360 deals where, because the labels are not getting money from record sales, what they're doing is they're tapping into your merchandising. They're tapping into your stake at a percentage of every performance that you do. So that's what a 360 deal is. And so it's kind of like, golly, it used to be where if you were signed to a major label, you were able to go on the road and still make your coin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's all yours. You know, you had merchandising, that was all yours. So when the label was recouping, you know, they were recouping from what they owed you, and you might not get any royalties back, but you could still get your coins and live very, very well.
Right.
Now that's not so much the case. So with labels, you can be really famous, but you're taking an L for like the first few years, first few albums, because there's so much payback. However, if you have room to renegotiate, if your album does incredibly well, and not just well, but incredibly well, and then you can renegotiate your contract, you know, leave the label, work worldwide, kind of do what you want to do, write your own ticket after that. So the state of music, as far as just the artistry and the music is concerned, I actually dig it. You know what I mean? I like to see evolution, and so, and I like to see what people do with it. I think hip-hop is definitely being ripped off and taken and shredded apart. It's part of every single genre of music now. Hip-hop is the most progressive form of music, as much as they talk about it. But I think the biggest issue that I have with it is that it's, you know, we are always robbed, and we don't cherish our own stuff enough. Yeah. And we let people bite off of it and chip away at it, and we don't have anything to show for it in the end. So now hip-hop kind of belongs to everyone when it's really ours. And it's kind of annoying to see that people will take the money up front for the notoriety, but you're kind of selling your soul because you just sold away another piece of us. You know what I'm saying? For the coin. You know, so that's annoying, but at the same time, when you think about people having to take care of their families, and they're like, shoot, I did what I needed to do. They gave me this check.
Yeah.
Turn down, you know what I mean? And you start to justify it because you say, well, I mean, this ain't that much. But when you got 30, 40, 150 artists that are saying, I'm going to give you this little piece, but it ain't that much, that adds up to
it. It adds up.
Exactly. So, you know, we're all over. We're everywhere. We are everywhere, but we're not getting credit for being everywhere. So that's a little annoying. When you look at DJs, where did DJing start? Excuse me? In hip-hop. But now the hottest and biggest DJs in the world are not black.
Nope.
And they're not even spinning. They don't even know what something feels like. Like, that's annoying to see. You know, so we end up having to figure out how to tap back into what is ours in order to make money because we've been pushed out because they took what we had and made it easier. And, you know, they did first. You know what I mean? They don't care about the true experience of it. They're like, well, whatever. I'm doing Vegas, honey. I got a residency. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so it's bittersweet, but it's still ours.
Yeah.
It's still ours. You will never be able to say that hip-hop is not ours.
Yeah. And like you said, it's just going back to the history of it, of where did it start? Where did it begin? Who were the trailblazers were in it? You know what I'm saying? So we know the truth. It is what it is.
We know the truth about a lot, and we're not, you know, my concern is that 100 years from now, will they know the truth? Mm. You know what I mean? Because when you look at our history books with everything else that we created, yeah, we got the credit for the first 100 years or so. But what about the next 100 years? You know, that's in the history books, and which is AKA the blob. Yeah. AKA it's skewing it slowly but surely. Mm. Slowly but surely, it's skewing the whole thing. Like, you don't know, like, the DJs, the real DJs in your community. Like, do you know who they are? Mm. You don't know the real DJs who started. Like, how many people in 100 years will know who Africa Bambaataa was? Mm. You know what I mean? Will know who Dougie Fresh is probably here today.
He ain't going nowhere.
Let me tell you something. A Dougie Fresh show, oh my God! Like, but you know, he knows how to reinvent himself without changing himself.
Yes.
Dougie Fresh is exception to the rule. Though. How many people will know who Monty is? How many people will know? You know LL. They'll know LL from acting before they know him from rapping.
From rapping, yes. Wow. You know
what I mean? And TV show hosts and hosting, you know, all of these great, you know, TV shows and music award shows and stuff like that. But will they know him from rapping? Will they know I Need Love? You know what I'm saying? Will they know? So it's kind of like we have to work to try and keep that alive. Yeah. But I'm not going to keep preaching. I'm not going to keep preaching on this interview, though.
No, you good. We, you know, so we get to the meat of it. I love that you're still very passionate about it because you know, we have come across some artists, you know, in the game or whatever the case is that kind of just take a back seat, like you said. You know, they write their check off and they, you know, they good. You know, the family eating and everything. Yeah. So to still hear that passion in your voice about our history, about where hip hop comes from, it's just.
And honestly, not to thump them off either because I get it.
Yeah, I understand.
You're totally just thinking about, it's about my family. Like, depending upon where you came from, like, you came from humble means. Like, you're like, hey, man, I ain't got time to think about everybody else. I got to get it. And I got to get it however I need to get it. And in every generation in the history of the world, there's majority of people are that way. Yeah. The majority of people are that way. There were more Rosa Parks. Rosa wasn't the only person. Not to jump her off. Rosa wasn't the only person who refused to sit to the back of. She just happened to work for Dr. King, and she was a prominent person at that time, and so it stood out. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But now, to thank God, she stood out because now we have an understanding of what it feels like to be proud of yourself and not be willing to be pushed to the back of the bus, regardless of whatever the situation is. So thank God for that situation. But there was not only one. There were many.
There were many more.
The majority of the people complied. Because we wouldn't have those rules. We wouldn't have had laws. Slavery wouldn't have lasted for so long. The majority complied. So I get it. I get it because there's fear involved. Everyone's not made that way. I totally get it. Yeah. So I don't jump off. I don't say what I say to try to make it seem like, you know, well, you should have did it like this, or anybody's less than anybody. I think that's just what makes the world go round. You know, people are different.
Absolutely. Keisha Jackson. Keisha, let everyone know the best way that they can get into contact with you and find out what you're doing, where you're at, where you're going to be next.
Yes, I am. Okay, you can reach me on Instagram at Keisha Jackson, Keisha Jackson. Facebook is Soul Sister, Keisha Jackson Soul Sister. Twitter is Keisha Jackson. Child, everywhere Keisha Jackson. So far. If you Google me on Facebook at Keisha Jackson, I'll be the first one to pop up. So I'm glad I grabbed the name first.
Okay.
There's a lot of Keishas in there.
This is true. This is true. You gotta. I learned that. Yeah, I unfortunately learned that later on in the game because I was, trying to snatch up my name and I seen some people already had it. I was like, oh, okay, that's what we gonna do.
Okay. Yeah, if you were late to Facebook, honey, because you were still on MySpace, now you missed it. You missed it. But I've got some things coming up. I've got a tribute performance. It's called American Shadows. It's with it's led by Otis Redding III, who's Otis Redding's son.
Wow.
And that's in Macon, and that's called American Shadows. So it's Otis Redding III, it's Heather Hayes, Kay's daughter, and it's Trey Twitty, Conway Twitty's grandson, and we're hosting a show of stories and music, and that's at the Douglas Theater in Macon on the 9th of September. I have a couple of shows coming up. I'm doing the ATL Fest with Big Boy this week. That's going to be turned.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing. Yes, that's Big Boy, the Young Blood, Goody Mob. That's going to be bananas. And I'm about to go on tour with Big Boy in the next 30 days or so. So I'm trying to wrap up these small few things at home. And now that I'm an empty nester, honey, I'm out. You hear me?
I know you're going to enjoy that. Definitely enjoy that.
Yes.
Keisha Jackson, y'all. I appreciate you so much, Keisha. Thank you for coming through and sharing your insights, sharing pieces and parts of your life and your journey so that people can hear it, understand it, and hopefully take something from it. That's what the whole...
Appreciate that.
I really appreciate that. And I thank each and every one of you for supporting the movement, which is ashsaidit.com. Keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face and tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do.
That's
Watch
right.
me make it happen. Watch me make history. All right? Because that's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. All right? Social media is cool. It's nice. It's fun. But real life is happening now. This is true. Truthness. I'll let y'all.